Hello, everyone. Today, I am going to teach you how to make this beautiful granny square motif. It's very chic and very nice, very elegant. Also, you can make multiple squares and put them together. Currently making an Afghan with these granny squares, which I can show you later on once I start putting them together, and I can also show you how to attach them together. There are two different ways to do it. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So to start this granny square, I'm gonna use this yarn. It's peaches and cream. It's 100% cotton. This one is number 4. And also, if you like that color, here's the information about the color. Sunshine, or in Spanish, luz de sol, is very nice to work with. I'm using a 4.5 hook millimeter. It make it a little snug when you do it because sometimes this yarn, it may stretch out a little bit when you work with. So you want to make sure when you work with it, it's not too loose. So I'm going to start with the magic ring. That's my favorite method, but if you prefer, you can do the chain 4. So usually how we start is I put it like this, go under the circle like this, pull it through, sorry. All right, here we go. I like the magic ring because you can actually adjust it and open it if you need to. And then once you're done with that granny square, you can actually adjust the circle. So let's get started here. All right. So we're gonna start with chain 3 and make sure it's not too tight. You see that if you are not sure, then it may be a little tight. So just pull it a little bit. One, two, three. So this chain 3 count as our first double crochet. We're gonna do a double crochet here. We're gonna go through this circle. We're gonna pull the yarn under, and then do a double crochet. So we have our chain 3 and the double crochet. We're gonna do another double crochet. So yarn over, go through the circle, pull the yarn, pull the yarn again through 2 loops, pull it through 2. Okay, so we did our first cluster. Now we're gonna do 2 chains. I normally prefer 2 chains, but if you are more into doing 3, you can also do that. That's how normally the granny square is. On the corners, this is gonna be corners because this is our initial row. I'll explain later the second row. So I'm gonna do 2 chains to make it a little more snug, and then going again on the circle here, we're gonna do 3 double crochets and make sure that circle doesn't close because it's gonna make it a little more difficult for you. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have one cluster, 2 double crochet, another cluster. We're gonna do 4 clusters on that first row. So to separate this from the other cluster, we do chain 2, and we go again. 1, 2, 3. Sorry about that. So we have 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna zoom it a little bit to make it a little bit easier to look. After the third cluster, we do 1, 2, and we do our final cluster before we close our row. So we do 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. So it's just like your normal granny square. If you're not sure how to do a granny square, you can search maybe like a basic video of how to do a granny square, and then you can follow along because this is standard. So you do 1 cluster, 1 cluster, so 4 divided by the corners. You can do either 2 chains here, or you can do 3, whichever you prefer. I prefer 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to find that initial chain 3, which is here. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to insert the hook through there. So we find it there, slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch all the way to the corner. We want to make sure that we go to the corner, so slip stitch through the second, and slip stitch on the third, and to go to the corner we're going to slip stitch one more time right here. All right, perfect. So now we made our way to the corner. We have 4 corners, and now on this string over here we're going to pull it, make it tight to close that circle in the middle. And I usually like to make a knot after I do that, and that way as I work on my project it doesn't come undone. I'm gonna put it right there. I'll make sure it's a little tight. I like to pull it, make sure it's tight over there. There we go. So it's secure. Now we're gonna go to our second row. I'm gonna adjust the camera a little bit. Okay, second row. So we're gonna start going up with chain 3. And then what we're gonna do, as your normal granny square, you're gonna do the same clusters that are here, over here. Let's do it together. So we got our chain 3, and then we go down 2 more double crochets to make that first cluster. Okay, so we have 1, chain 3, so chain 3, 1 and 2 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 2, and we're gonna go on the same corner of the chain 2 space. So we do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have our first corner. Now to transition to the other corner, some people do 2 chains. I'm gonna do 1 because When I do 2 chains, it feels like it's too loose and too big. So to make a little more snuggle, I do 1, and I'm ready to do my second corner here. Let's do it together. So 3 double crochets on that corner. 1, 2, and 3. Sorry about that. Okay, 3. Always chain 2. And our next cluster in the same corner. Again, 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Chain 1 to transition to our next corner. We're going to do the same thing, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So chain 2 and 3 double crochets. We're getting closer to finish our last corner here. And after that last corner is when the pattern is going to change. We got our third corner, chain 1, and our last corner before we close the row. We do 3 double crochets, okay, chain 2, 3 double crochet, okay. So this is taking shape now. Chain 1, 1, 2, 3. We're going to find that chain 3 space, which is right here, and we're going to go through, slip stitch, pull it, and pull it. And now remember, we're gonna slip stitch all the way to go to this corner. So we go to the second double crochet on that top part, slip stitch, and the last one here. And remember, I always do one more to go to the corner and to position it to start our new row. So you see how it's looking now. Make sure you have all the corners, two clusters, 2 clusters, 2 clusters, 2 clusters. I always like to check because sometimes when you're so into doing the project, you may skip and then you're gonna have to go back and redo the whole thing. So it looks like we're good to go to our next row. So to start the next row, same thing. We go up with 3 chains up. We're gonna do the same corners like this, just like our regular granny square. So chain 3 double crochet and another double crochet. Okay, so we have our first corner started, chain 2, 3 more double crochets in the same chain 2 space. All right, we got our corner here. Now the difference that we're gonna do from our regular cluster double crochets in this chain space here. After we do our last cluster here, we're gonna chain one, which usually we did before, but we are going to hook it here instead of doing a cluster here. So we're gonna hook it with a single crochet, like an anchor. And then we secured it there. The shape is gonna go down like this. And then chain one. And now we're gonna do on our next corner, then we do on the two clusters again, like our regular granny square. So double crochet, so 1 2 3, chain two, 3 more double crochets in the same chain two space. Okay, so we have one cluster here, chain two, and another cluster, chain one, and we're gonna hook it in this middle part here with a single crochet, chain one, and we're gonna continue. We're gonna do it together, and since it's the first row that we do differently, we're gonna finish it up. So I'm just gonna try to hurry up here. We already know that on the corners you do a cluster with 3 double crochets, chain two, and again in the same chain two space we're gonna do another cluster of 3 double crochets, chain one, go to the middle, so you see how it's looking now, more circular on the corners. I'm going to finish our last corner, chain one, and 3 double crochets, almost done. Okay, 1 and 2, chain one, single crochet in the middle part, and chain one, and then 2 finish the row like we did before. We're going to find that chain 3, go 1 2 3, and slip stitch all the way to the corner, all the way to the corner, and hook it here. There we go. And let's make sure we have everything good. Looks good. Now we're getting ready to go to our next row. Our next row is a little different, so pay close attention, and I'll see you in a little bit to start with our fourth row. This is our third one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, make sure you have all the corners, that you have 2 clusters on each corner, and that you have 1 single crochet in the middle sections here. I'll be right back. I am so sorry, the previous example was cut off a little bit. So I know I was in the middle part when I did the single crochet and then the chain 1, and then we're going to do the next corner. So we do 3 double crochets right here, two chains, and then the next cluster in the same spot, 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we're gonna do 1 chain. We're gonna do a single crochet here in the middle space. We go under, pull it, and pull the yarn through to 1 chain. And now we're gonna connect it. We're gonna close the row and the 3rd chain up. So count 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna put it right here. And remember, always take it to the corner by slip stitching on every stitch. So we did this one already. The next one, slip stitch, and the next one, slip stitch, pull through, and we go to the space 2 chains. Okay, so now we have our square granny. It looks a little different than your traditional granny, as we are putting here single crochet to make a little difference on the shape that normally this goes over, or well, here usually goes clusters too, but we're doing this to make a little difference on the granny square motif. Now our fourth row is gonna be a little different. So I'm gonna show you again the original square that I already did. Okay, so this is the one that we have. We have the first row, the second row, which is the normal granny. Then we have this one here, which is the one with the single crochets. And now we're gonna work on this one. This one is a little different, and it's not the typical cluster that we usually do. We're gonna do something different, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. This is gonna be row number 4. Okay, we're gonna put this to the side, and we're gonna start by chaining 3. So we do 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna chain an additional because this is gonna count as a space, chain space. Okay, now we're gonna do a double crochet, another one. This is the second one. Okay, so we have 1, this counts as 1, the space, 1 double crochet, and then we're gonna chain 1. So on this one's here on the corner, we're gonna do a total of 6, including the chain 3. So it's gonna be 6 double crochets by space 1 on each one. So space 1. Let's do the third one. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So we have 4, chain 1, double crochet. This is our 5th, and chain 1, and our last one. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all divided by 1 space chain. Okay, so now what we're gonna do something different. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're gonna take this to the top of this double crochet cluster here on the corner. Okay, so we're gonna slip stitch through, or you can do single crochet, whichever you prefer. I do single crochet. There you go. And now remember, this is the single crochet that was in the middle gap. So we're gonna do another chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to attach it to our next cluster here at the beginning. Also single crochet. Okay, so we did 3, we attach it to this cluster here, and then we do 3 to do this in the middle part. So it's gonna be like an arch, and then we attach it here to our next cluster. Now to go to our next corner, we're gonna do the same thing that we did here. We are going to chain 3 to go up. So 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to do 6 double crochets in this corner. And remember, between each double crochet, you're going to leave 1 chain space. So let's do our first one. 1 double crochet. So we have 1, chain 1, 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1, 5, chain 1, 6. Now, very important that you count this, because we're gonna do something else on top of it, and if we don't have the correct number, it's gonna give us a little difficulty to attach them later if we want to do multiple granny squares to put them together. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They all have a chain in between. Now we're gonna do the same thing that we did here. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna find the cluster here, the last stitch here before the center. We're gonna do a single crochet here. Okay, we're gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna find our next cluster after the center part here. We're gonna do the arch. We're gonna hook it here with a single crochet. Okay, and to go up, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to repeat the same thing as we did on every corner. The 6 double crochets, chain 1, chain 3, single crochet on this cluster here, do 3 chains for the center here, attach it again on the next cluster with single crochet, do 3 chain to go up, and then you do the cluster here in the corner. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the row, and when I'm getting ready to attach it, I'll show you how to do it.